everyone, and welcome back to the English Easy podcast for a better life. I'm Emma, and as always, I'm joined by my fantastic co-host, George. How are you doing today, George?
Hey, Emma. I'm doing great, feeling energized and ready for today's topic. How about you?
I'm doing well, too. Okay, George, I want to start with something uncomfortable, something that might make us a little defensive.
My favorite way to start. Go ahead.
I think most people don't actually want to change their lives. Not really.
That's a strong statement. What do you mean?
Well, think about it. They say they want to change, they post inspirational quotes, they journal about it, they might even cry about it at 2 a.m., feeling stuck. But when it comes to the actual difficult work of changing, they don't do it. And I know this because I've been that person. For years, I was the Queen of Tomorrow.
The Queen of Tomorrow. I like that title. Tell me about her reign.
It was long and very unproductive. I used to say things to myself all the time. Next month, I'll finally get serious about my health. After this project, I'll have time for my own goals. When things calm down, I'll start when I feel ready. And the strange thing was, I was never ready. That magical ready feeling never arrived. Tomorrow just became another today.
Because ready is not a real psychological state. It's a story we tell ourselves to feel better about not moving. It's a protective illusion. There's a concept in behavioral psychology called temporal discounting. It sounds complicated, but it's simple. We humans have a strong tendency to overvalue comfort and rewards right now, and we deeply undervalue rewards that are far away in the future.
So my brain prefers the comfort of Netflix tonight over working toward a healthier life 5 years from now?
Exactly. Your brain thinks, Netflix now equals pleasure now. Exercise now equals pain now. Future health? That's an abstract concept. So you choose Netflix. Not because you're weak or lazy, but because your brain is wired to survive today. For most of human history, focusing on the immediate threat was the best way to stay alive. You're fighting millions of years of brain development.
Okay, that makes me feel a little better about my past self. But what about people who are genuinely unhappy, deeply unhappy? People stuck in jobs they hate, relationships that make them feel small, habits they're ashamed of. Why don't they change? The pain is right there, in the present.
Because pain has a threshold, a level it has to reach. People don't change just because they're unhappy. That's not strong enough. People change when the pain of staying the same becomes greater than the fear and pain of changing. It's a simple equation. Most people live in what I call tolerable misery. It's a specific, uncomfortable zone. It's not good enough to make you feel alive, but it's also not bad enough to force you to jump into the unknown. It's miserable, but it's a miserable, It's familiar. And the human brain craves familiarity, even if it's making us sad.
Tolerable misery. That hits hard. I think I lived there for a long time. So waiting for tomorrow or readiness is a trap. But for so long, I believed in another trap, motivation. I used to think motivation was like magic. This special feeling that would come and save me. I'd wait for that surge of energy, that cinematic moment where I'd suddenly feel powerful and ready to conquer the world.
And how often did that cinematic moment arrive?
Rarely. Almost never. And when it did, it lasted about 3 days. Then it would disappear, and I'd feel even worse, like a failure for losing that magic feeling.
Right. Because we have a flawed backwards narrative in our culture. The narrative is motivation to action to results. First you find motivation, then you take action, then you get results. It sounds logical,
It does.
but in reality, it works the opposite way. The real psychological formula is action to momentum to motivation. You have to move first. Take the smallest possible action. It doesn't matter if you feel like it. That action creates a tiny bit of momentum. And that tiny bit of momentum is what creates the feeling of motivation. Think about it. When is it hardest to go to the gym? When you're sitting on your couch thinking about going, the motivation isn't there. But the moment you put on your shoes and walk out the door, a shift happens. The action itself starts to generate the energy to continue. This is a core principle in a fantastic book called Atomic Habits by James Clear. One of his main arguments is that systems are much more important than goals.
Systems versus goals. Explain that.
A goal is an outcome you want. I want to lose 10 kilos. I want to write a book. Goals are destinations. They're useful for setting direction. But a system is the process you follow every day. I will exercise for 20 minutes every morning. I will write 200 words before I check my email. Motivation fluctuates. It's like the weather. Some days sunny, some days stormy. You can't control the weather, but you can build a strong house, a system, that protects you from the weather. If you rely on motivation, you'll fail on the days you don't feel like it. But if you rely on a system, you just follow the process, regardless of how you feel.
That makes so much sense. I remember wanting to feel inspired before writing. I'd stare at a blank screen, waiting for inspiration to arrive like a text message. But the days I actually wrote something were never the days I felt inspired. They were the days I just forced myself to sit down and put one word after another, even if the words were terrible.
Exactly. Because action rewires your identity. This connects to another hugely important book, Mindset by Carol Dweck. She describes two mindsets, fixed and growth. Someone with a fixed mindset believes their intelligence and talent are fixed traits. They're born with a certain amount, and that's it. They avoid challenges because if they fail, it proves they aren't smart or talented. Someone with a growth mindset believes their abilities can be developed through dedication and hard work. They embrace challenges, persist through setbacks, and see effort as the path to mastery.
So, waiting for motivation, for that special feeling of readiness, is actually a fixed mindset in disguise.
Precisely. Motivation worship says, I'll begin when I feel capable. But the growth mindset says, I become capable by beginning.
This idea of identity is powerful. I've set goals my entire life, made lists and plans, lose weight, start a business, wake up early. Some I achieved, but most didn't stick. I'd succeed for a few weeks, then slowly slide back. Why?
Because goals target your behavior. They say, do this, don't do that. But identity targets your self-concept, the story you tell yourself about who you are. And your behavior will almost always follow your self-concept. You cannot behave in a way that's inconsistent with who you believe you are, at least not for very long. It creates too much internal conflict. James Clear writes, Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become.
A vote. I like that. It's not all or nothing.
Kind of person who shows up on time. And kind of person who shows up on time, and then you show up on time for one meeting. You've just cast one vote for that identity. Do it again, another vote. Over time, the evidence builds. Your brain starts to believe the story. You stop trying to be disciplined. You just are a disciplined person.
So there's a huge difference between wanting to be successful and actually seeing yourself as someone who makes different choices on a Tuesday afternoon.
Yes. And Dweck's work reinforces this. Think of a student with a fixed mindset who says, "I'm not a math person." That's an identity statement. No amount of goal setting will fix that. But if they can shift their identity to, "I am someone who can improve at math," then their behavior can shift. They might try a new study technique or ask for help because it's no longer a test of their fixed identity. Change doesn't begin with a calendar date like New Year, New Me. It begins with a narrative rewrite. Changing the story you tell yourself in the quiet moments.
Okay, let's get uncomfortable again. I want to ask a question I find genuinely terrifying. If nothing changes, if you keep your same habits, same fears, same excuses, where will you be in 5 years?
That question should terrify everyone who hears it. Because time is not neutral. Time compounds. It multiplies effects, for good or for bad. Warren Buffett, one of the richest people in the world, often talks about the power of compounding returns. In investing, you earn money on your money, and then you earn money on that money, and it grows faster over time. Small, consistent investments create enormous outcomes if you give them enough time. Habits work the same way. A small positive habit, like reading for 20 minutes every day, seems insignificant. But over 5 years, that's hundreds of hours of reading. You've absorbed dozens of books. Your thinking has been reshaped. That's positive compounding. But neglect compounds too. 5 years of choosing Netflix over learning a new skill, 5 years of avoiding difficult conversations, 5 years of eating just a little too much. That doesn't just leave you where you started. It leaves you in a much worse place. Small distractions and small avoidances create a completely different life than small, consistent investments in yourself.
We behave as if time is infinite. We act like we have forever. It's the illusion of psychological immortality. We can't truly grasp that our time is limited, that the days are passing and not coming back.
Yes. And the real danger is that opportunity cost is invisible. When you spend an evening scrolling on your phone, you don't see the book you didn't read, the conversation you didn't have, the skill you didn't practice. You don't see the future version of yourself that you just didn't build. This is where first principles thinking can help. It means stripping away all assumptions and getting down to fundamental truths. Ask yourself, if I continue this exact pattern of behavior for the next 5 years, what is the logical outcome? Not the hopeful outcome. Not the outcome I wish for. The logical outcome based on the evidence of my current actions. That clarity destroys the comfortable illusion that things will magically get better on their own.
So we've talked about why people don't change. But here's another uncomfortable truth. Even when people do change, even when they become successful and achieve their goals, they're not always happy. They're not always fulfilled. I've met incredibly high performers, built successful companies, prestigious jobs, admired by everyone. But when you talk to them one-on-one, you can sense it. They're exhausted. Accomplished, yes, but inside, hollow, empty.
This is a very important point. What you're describing is the result of a performance-based identity. When a person's self-worth is completely dependent on their achievements. I am valuable because I won this award. I am worthy because I made this much money. The problem is, it's incredibly fragile, like building your house on ice. You can never rest. Your worth is only as high as your last success. Bad quarter at work? Your self-worth drops. Someone else achieves more? You feel smaller. You're constantly running, not because you love what you do, but because you're trying to prove your value. This connects to ideas in a fascinating book called The Courage to be Disliked, based on the psychology of Alfred Adler. Adlerian psychology emphasizes that all our problems are really interpersonal relationship problems. And a huge part of that is how we seek validation from others.
Seeking validation, that's at the heart of it.
Yes. The book argues that true freedom comes when you can separate your own tasks from the tasks of other people. Your task is to be honest, to work hard, to act with integrity. Their task is to judge you. You cannot control their judgment. If your worth depends on their good judgment, you give away your power. Oprah Winfrey has spoken about this. She said that success does not heal insecurity. You can achieve everything, have everyone's approval, and still feel like the scared, unworthy child you once were. External elevation does not automatically produce internal stability.
So, changing your life externally is not enough. You can change your job, your body, your bank account, and still feel empty.
Correct. You have to do the internal work too. Identity must detach from applause. Otherwise, you're just trading one form of suffering for another. The stagnation of your old life for the anxiety of your new one. You're successful, but you're not free.
Let's go deeper into fear, because underneath all this procrastination, ego protection, motivation myths, performance anxiety, there is fear, primal fear, fear of failing publicly, fear of being judged, fear of losing the familiar version of ourselves, even if we don't like it.
Absolutely. And this is where we have to go back to biology. This isn't a character flaw. It's a fundamental design feature of the human brain. The brain's number one job is not to make you happy or successful. Its number one job is to keep you alive. The part of the brain most responsible for this is the amygdala. It's ancient, often called the lizard brain. Its job is to scan for threats. And when it perceives a threat, it hijacks everything. It triggers fight or flight. Your heart races. Your thinking brain basically shuts down. Here's the key. The amygdala responds more intensely to the fear of something unknown than to the pain of something familiar. Uncertainty is neurologically more threatening than dissatisfaction.
Wow. So, my brain finds the idea of an uncertain future, even a better future, more scary than the certainty of my current unhappy situation?
Exactly. Predictable pain feels safer than unpredictable possibility. Your brain says, I know this job is boring and makes you sad, but I know what to expect. Changing jobs? Unknown. New people, new chances to fail and be humiliated. Too dangerous. Stay here. This is why people remain in familiar suffering. It's not laziness. It's a deeply wired survival instinct,
So, biology fights against our potential.
partly. But it's also about identity preservation, psychological survival. If you've always been the quiet one in your group, that's your role. If you change, you threaten that social script. People might react strangely. They might try to put you back in your old role without realizing it. Oh, that's not like you, they'll say. You might also outgrow some relationships. The things you used to talk about might no longer fit who you're becoming, and that can be incredibly lonely. The fear of losing your tribe is a powerful force that keeps us in line.
Okay, we've spent a lot of time on the problems. The psychology, the biology, the identity traps. Fascinating, but it can feel hopeless, like we're prisoners of our own brains. So now, the practical part. What do we actually do? Not in a dramatic movie montage way, but practically. What are the steps a normal person can take, starting tomorrow morning, to begin this process?
Good. This is the most important part. Understanding is the first step, but action is the only thing that creates change. Let's build a simple, grounded, practical framework. Let's call it the 30-day reset. It's not about transforming your entire life in a month. That's impossible and a recipe for burnout. It's about creating a small, solid foundation to build upon. Here are the 5 steps. Step 1. The identity statement. This is not a fantasy, not, I want to be a millionaire. It's a statement of transition, who you are becoming. Simple and believable to your current self, but pointing in a new direction. For example, instead of I am a disciplined person, which might feel like a lie, say, I am becoming someone who honors the commitments I make to myself. Instead of I am healthy, say, I am becoming someone who treats their body with respect. Write it down. Put it on your mirror. Repeat it, especially when you don't feel like following through. It reminds your brain of the new story you're trying to write. Step 2. One non-negotiable habit. This is critical. Do not try to change 5 things at once. Your brain will rebel. It's like learning 5 new languages simultaneously. You'll learn none. Based on atomic habits, choose one small, repeatable action. And I mean small. So easy you can't say no, even on your worst day. Prioritize consistency over intensity. Want to get fit? Not go to the gym for an hour. It's put on my workout clothes and do 1 push-up. Want to write? Not write a chapter. It's write 1 sentence. Want to be more mindful? Not meditate for 20 minutes. It's take 3 deep breaths. You do this one small thing every single day. No exceptions. No escalation. Just the one small thing. The goal is to build the neural pathway, to cast that daily vote for your new identity. Consistency is the win. After 30 days, you'll have a solid foundation. Then you can add more. Step 3. Eliminate one energy drain. We usually think of change as adding things, but sometimes subtracting is more powerful. What's one thing that consistently drains your energy, focus, or mood? Remove it for 30 days. One specific thing. Not toxic people. Too vague. Is it checking social media first thing in the morning? Remove apps from your home screen. Put your phone in another room. Is it watching news before bed? Replace it with reading for 30 days. Is it a distraction loop, clicking from video to video? Install a website blocker for 2 hours a day. You're creating space. Removing the drain automatically frees up mental energy and time. Pull the weeds before planting flowers. Step 4. The weekly self-audit. Change needs feedback. You need to know if you're on track. Every 7 days, sit for 15 minutes and ask 3 simple questions. Be honest. No shame, only data. What did I avoid this week? The call I didn't want to make? The task that felt too hard? This shows you where your fear is. What did I execute? What small actions did I actually take? Celebrate these, no matter how small. What pattern repeated? Did the same excuse come up? Did I slump on Wednesday afternoons? This helps you see the structure of your behavior so you can adjust your system. Step 5. The discipline of silence. This is the hardest. Do not announce your transformation. When you decide to change, there's a powerful urge to tell everyone, I'm starting a diet. I'm waking up at 5 a.m. I'm starting a business.
Why is that urge so strong? It feels good to share plans.
It feels good because public declarations create premature dopamine. When you tell friends your goal, your brain gets a little hit of the reward it would get from actually achieving the goal. You feel the satisfaction of their approval. And that small hit can actually reduce your motivation to do the hard work. You've already tasted the reward. Identity solidifies through repetition, not validation. The work is quiet. It's you, alone, doing the small thing day after day. Let your results speak. Let people notice the change over time, rather than announcing it before it's real. Work in silence. Let your success be the noise.
So after all this deep conversation, maybe change isn't dramatic at all. Maybe it's not a single big, brave moment. Maybe it's quiet.
It is.
Uncomfortable, repetitive, completely unglamorous.
It is exactly that.
It's not an event, not a lightning strike.
Number. Change is a restructuring of your identity, expressed through your daily behavior. No fireworks. Just the quiet friction of choosing the harder path, again and again, especially on the days you don't want to.
But here's the truth. If you alter your identity, even slightly, if you cast one small vote for the person you want to become every single day. So it's time to stop waiting for the perfect moment. It's an illusion. It's time to stop negotiating with tomorrow. Tomorrow is a ghost. All you have is today, and the small choice you make right now.
Change is not loud. It is disciplined. And it is possible. It is possible for you. But only if you make the decision at a deep level that who you are becoming matters more than who you have been.
It is time to change your life.
Start today. Start small. Start quietly. And that's everything for today's episode. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode and learned something new, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel.
Because your support helps us create more helpful lessons for you.
Stay motivated, keep practicing, and we will see you in the next episode.